Good morning. It is Sunday now, and we just finished home mass, and I am getting some things ready for breakfast. Peter's been helping me. This is not necessarily, that wasn't part of our Sunday prep here, but I made French toast. Peter did scrambled eggs. Warren sliced up some venison sausage, and then we do have some cheese curds that we're going to have for that. But what I do want to include, like fully into the Sunday prep, is how to make homemade syrup. So, as you know, you can tap trees and go through all of that work, and we've done that, and it was just a smidge of a success at one point. But what I'm going to do here is put 2 cups of brown sugar, 2.5 cups of white sugar, a 1/2 cup of corn syrup, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 3/4 cup water. I'm going to put it into this little saucepan. I'm going to bring it to a boil. I'm just going to give it one stir to make sure everything is kind of incorporated, and then I'm going to bring it to a boil with absolutely no more stirring. I'm going to boil it for just about 2 to 3 minutes. I don't want to go the full 3 minutes because sometimes then it starts to crystallize when it cools and you get a little more sugary syrup than you want. But anyway, what I'm going to do is cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes, somewhere in there. I'll take it off of the heat. Then I'm going to put into there a 1/2 teaspoon of maple extract and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and give it a stir. And then as it cools, it kind of thickens up, and it's syrup for us. This will make just a little over 1 quart of syrup. And the best thing to do is to make this ahead of time so that it actually has time to sort of cool and thicken up before you use it. But I didn't. I usually tend to realize that we are out of syrup right when we're making like pancakes or French toast or something. Okay, so before we get on more with the video, okay, yep, bye guys. Before we get on more with the video, so I do want to make a mention that today's video is a collaboration with Tiffany from Large Family Love, and I started watching her channel, I'd say at least 6 weeks ago, maybe all the way to 8 weeks ago, and I really enjoy her content. She does a lot of Sunday prep videos where she's just kind of showing the things that she's making to get ready for the week. As many of you do know, I enjoy doing that as well because I love, especially during the football season, I love cooking on Sundays while the guys are watching football, and I watch it too, and then having things ready for the week. I'd kind of gotten out of it, it feels like, the last few months, and watching her videos just spurred that on again. I was like, I need to get back to that Sunday prep where I just kind of get a bunch of things ready for the week so that we are ready for the week, right? So definitely you are going to want to go and check out her channel if you like Sunday prep style videos, because that's what she's doing as well today. I don't know what she's going to be sharing. I bet there's going to be some bread in there though. She makes lots and lots of bread. I love watching her bake bread. She does it all different methods. So sometimes she'll do it she'll like do it in a mixer. I think I've seen her do it in a bread machine. Yes, I know she's done it in a bread machine before. Sometimes she'll just hand knead everything. And so lots and lots of recipes, whole wheat breads, and I mean, you name it, she does bread. She loves to, I don't know if she loves it, but anyway, she loves to show it. So she makes a lot of bread. So you're gonna want to go and check out her channel. So I will leave her link in the description box below. And at the end of this video, I'm going to link to her video as well. So you guys can just head on over there and see what she's got going for this Sunday as well. So what I wanna do is kind of give you guys a little rundown here. So yesterday I had put together my list. I did add to it last night. I remembered I wanted to make some mashed potatoes. Peter had asked if we could do pancakes this morning, but instead I did French toast. And so I thought I'm going to get some pancake mix because I don't have any ready. I'm going to get that going. Possibly some beef gravy mix. I don't know if I'm going to have the right types of ingredients for that. And then we're still going to be doing taco soup. I don't have the meat thawed for that right now, but I can cook that one from frozen. So we will see what all gets done. I did get all my recipes ready yesterday. I did want to try Kevin's recipe for, these are English muffins. He is from Living Traditions Homestead. He and Sarah have that. I think Sarah, right? Yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. I know a lot of you watch them as well. And so I wanted to give his recipe a try for English muffins. I got out my recipe for cranberry muffins as well. Let's see. It says that I first made these in 2008. Here we are, 2020, still making that recipe. bakery sugar cookie recipe I grabbed. Here's my thin crust pizza dough recipe that I use. Here's the Salisbury steak recipe that I loosely follow. And then my little cheddar meatloaves recipe. I don't think I'm going to have the cheese though, so I think they're going to be just little meatloaves without the cheddar this time. Blah, 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 right? Let's just get right to the cooking. So even though my list is in this order, it doesn't mean that's the order I'm going to get it done in, because what I like to do is make sure that I have something going while I do something else to kind of utilize my time the best. So I have to just kind of think that through a little bit, and then I will check back in with you once I decide exactly how I'm going to do this and in what order, okay? First thing I decided to do here is get my Italian sausage frying up. I do have a little bit of my homemade pizza seasoning here, and I'm going to throw that in. I'm not going to throw it in yet because I want to drain the meat, and then I'm going to add that to it. Since the potatoes have to boil for about 20 minutes or so, I thought I'd get that going next. And it's going to be pretty quiet in the house here. I just have Joe home with me. Warren took Sam and Peter and Maria for a ride in the Mustang. First time they got that out for the year. Just a beautiful day out there, kind of cool. It's about 48 degrees right now, but nice and sunny. I see that I had a little more sausage than my plate here could handle, but that's all right. I just have to be careful, and I guess I'll clean up the mess when I'm done. I decided that the little bit of grease that was left in this pan from frying up the pork sausage, I wanted to have some fried onions to go with our brats tonight. So this is just one large sweet onion that I just sliced, and I have that sauteing here. There wasn't quite enough dripping, so I did add about a tablespoon of butter to that as well. The reason I didn't show you these couple steps here is because my battery had died and I had to, both batteries were dead at the same time, so I had to give it a little time to charge up, so I had a minute or two of battery power. And then I always just label everything. I use a Sharpie marker, and with a little like scratchy scouring pad, that'll come right off. Sometimes it actually even comes off in the dishwasher, but I just label everything. This is my pizza sausage. I'm going to get this in the fridge. So I did cross off the sausage. I'm working on the mashed potatoes. Let's see. I think I'm going to go down and get a frozen pack of venison so I can get that browning next. If you are new here from Tiffany's channel, this is not ground beef. These were just the cheaper bags rather than the wild game bags, and so I purchased these. But this is ground venison, or deer burger as some people call it. And the trick I found when I start this from frozen is to microwave this for 1 minute, and then what'll happen is I can cut it in half easily and get it into just one large kettle. I also have a little over a quart of water here boiling so that I can make some iced tea. And then I'm also dicing up, I'm going to end up dicing up a second onion here, 2 onions to put into the taco soup meat. Now into this same pot that I did the sausage and the onion, I'm now going to get the meat ready for the taco soup. I actually had to put this on for 2 minutes today to get it to thaw just right so I could cut it. So you can see it's so nice to be able to cut that in half, that long tube of meat, and still fit it into generally a basic large kettle. I'm also going to put all these onions in there, and I'm going to cut one more up and throw that in here. Onion, I think, gives meat really good flavor. We like onion cooked with our meat, and it also adds a little bulk if you're trying to make the meat go a little bit further. One little tip is if you keep your garbage someplace kind of hidden, like we normally keep it under the sink, when I'm doing a big cook like this, I like to just bring it out. So I always have it handy. It makes keeping things kind of tidy pretty easy. I also like to have the dishwasher ready to accept dishes. I think my kids hate it when I say that, when I say the dishwasher is accepting dishes. So anyway, then I can also add things to the dishwasher as I'm cooking, and it just makes the end of the day cleanup that much easier. I've done it where I just don't clean up anything, and then the end of the day it's like, oh my gosh, you're so tired out. You just don't want to have to even think about that. And sometimes I don't. I just go to bed and deal with it in the morning. But if I can help it at all, I like to start with a fairly empty-ish dishwasher, or even sometimes I like to just get soapy water into my sink so that I can kind of wash as I go. That seems to work well too, because as you know, dried on food takes a lot longer to get off than fresh, you know, fresh food. So okay, I'm gonna get the water poured over. Iced tea. I put 3 tablespoons of sugar in here, which is gonna be plenty. Ooh, that's really splashing here. I don't know why. I'm just gonna let that sit there for about 3 or 5 minutes. And what else should we be doing? Okay, so next what I'm gonna do is start working on some of the bread kind of things. I think I'm going to work on getting the pizza crust going. Oh, I'm also going to hard boil eggs.
Come on, I got to drive it.
How did he manage to talk you into that one? Okay, things just got a little wild in the house here because everybody's back from their Mustang ride. Warren let Sam, I don't know if you heard that or not, but Warren let Sam drive the Mustang. So that was really exciting for him. Maria found $20 under the seat of the Mustang, so that was exciting. And now everybody wants to help out. So, okay, what I have going here, I do have the yeast getting ready to add the flour. This is just a recipe that I printed out. Everything will be linked or typed out in the description box below. And this is going to make like 2 full-size cookie sheet pizzas. The amount of pizza crust here that I am making, or pizza crust dough, I guess is what I'm actually making here today. Do you know that that's salt? You like eating just plain salt? Okay.
Because sugar is grainy.
Okay, I'm going to put in 1½ teaspoons of salt. You want to start stirring that around?
Oh, are you making?
This is pizza dough.
Ooh,
and then ooh, homemade is right. And then what we're going to put in is we're going to do 4 cups of flour. Actually, we're going to be putting in 5 cups of flour. 1, just stir. 2.
Mix it. Mix it.
3.
Mix it. Where's that?
4.
Mix it. Mix it.
And 5. Where did it go here, Maria? Oh, you took it over there? Okay. And then we do have room to add a little bit more flour if we need to, like upwards of about 1/4 cup. While Maria continues to stir, since I have all of these, bread making ingredients out, I'm also going to get going on the English muffins that I'm making. I'm going to use the recipe from Living Traditions Homestead. I'll link over to that in the description box below. But what I need to do is start with 1 1/4 cups of warm water, a tablespoon of sugar, and a teaspoon of yeast. And I hope that's supposed to be a teaspoon. Yes, and a teaspoon of yeast. For 10 minutes. So we'll just let that do its thing. So we have to turn this out onto a floured surface and knead it for 2 minutes. Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to need a little bit of flour. Let me just put the Easter eggs away.
Like that much?
That will be too much. Just right.
Let's get this.
What I'm going to do is get this kind of started for you, okay?
It's sticky. It's so sticky.
Uh-huh.
Look. Dad, this pizza dough is so sticky.
There you go. So you work on kneading that for 2 minutes, okay? And the nice thing about pizza crust is that if a child needs it and they over knead it or under knead it, it really isn't going to be a big deal because you're not looking for the pizza crust to rise way up like you would be for sandwich bread or something like that. So this is a perfect kind of recipe for kids, right? Because look at, they can just go to town. 2 minutes.
What do you think? I don't know what it's supposed to look like.
You don't? Let's give it a feel. Let's see.
All I know is my fingers are covered in dough.
They sure are.
But it's good.
You can either eat the dough, or what you can do is you can rub your hands like this over the garbage and it'll roll it all up and then go into the garbage. Okay, so this, like I said, is enough pizza crust dough to make 2 great big like baking sheets or cookie sheet size pizzas. What I'm going to do is break this into 2. Then it will be ready to roll out. So I'm going to be making the pizza tomorrow night for supper. Whoops. I'm going to keep it in the refrigerator just like this. Okay, I just noticed that my camera was turned off, and I had been talking to the camera. I don't really know what I had mentioned, but anyway, we just took the tea bags out. Maria is stirring in that little bit of sugar that I put into the iced tea. I did drain my potatoes, and I was just going to get started on mashing those. Here, over here, I have the meat that is still cooking for the taco soup. We did get the pizza crust. That's kind of where I think the camera turned off at some point during the pizza crust making. So I divided that between 2 bags. Here are the 2 bags. I divided the dough. It will rise a little bit overnight. That's okay. I'm going to roll it out. It'll fit into the pans tomorrow, but I just have that done. Next up, I think it's been 10 minutes. So I'm going to take this cover off. Okay, we're going to get that put away. I don't think I'm going to get started on this until I get those mashed potatoes taken care of, though. I put a couple tablespoons of butter in this pot already. Yeah, it broke yesterday. I have a little bit of cream cheese, and I'm going to add, and then I'm going to add some more butter. And yes, I still have dry dough all over my hands. We're going to let that all get soft because everything's cold. And we will come back to that in a little bit. Okay, so following the directions, we need to add in the melted butter. And we need to add in the salt, which is a teaspoon of salt. Okay, you want to open that up? My teaspoon broke. This is the second time. I glued it once. Then yesterday Peter was making cookies for the first time.
And he broke it?
Yep.
On accident?
I'm sure it was an accident, yep.
What happened?
I don't know. I was outside.
Did he drop it?
I don't know. I didn't ask him. He just came running outside by me and he said, "Mom, I have a big problem." I was like, oh great, he must have spilt all the dough on the floor or something. He said the measuring spoon broke. I was like, whew, okay. I guess it's all about how you present things to your mom. If you call it a huge problem and then it turns out to be that, it's not a big deal. Okay, let's keep going. It says we're going to add in the flour only until it's slightly sticky. So for the flour, we need to do 2 3/4 cups. Okay, there's 1. And another one. And then we have to mix it and put the dough on a floured surface. And this one we have to knead for 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Are you going to stir that?
Yeah.
Okay, stir it up.
If it's easier.
Uh-huh. I'm going to be sure to label this one iced tea because we do keep coffee in the refrigerator as well. Amber likes to have that, so iced tea I'm going to write on here. Just hopefully that she reads that and pays attention. I do like these lids the best for wide mouth canning jars. They have a pop top and they are really, really strong. But I'm out of them right now. I have one on this Italian dressing. I have one on a iced coffee that's in there for Amber, and I also am using my third one on the syrup. So I am thinking of investing in a few more of these because we do tend to use these a lot, but I don't have one, so I'm just going to put a regular lid on it today. Now what it says, we need to put the dough on a floured surface and knead it for 3 to 4 minutes. Let's put it there. Put the dough into an oiled bowl and cover with a towel. Okay, what we're going to do is just spray this bowl. Okay, it's been 3 minutes and the dough just felt to me like it was ready. I haven't ever made this dough before. I don't really know how to explain to you that I felt like it was ready, but it just wasn't really sticking to my surface any longer and it just felt ready. So it does say to place it into an oiled bowl. I did that right here. I used the same bowl that I cooked with. I just sprayed it. I'm going to cover that, and it says it needs to sit for 1 hour. My kitchen is fairly warm right now. I just set that on a counter that is kind of out of the way right now. I like to utilize sticky notes a lot in the kitchen, so since I put this over here at 12:40, I'm going to write 1:40 here. That's going to be an hour, and that's when this should be doubled, and I'll have to check on it. I know that I would forget what time, even though I tell myself, oh, remember, I forget. So I always use sticky notes, and maybe it's just because I'm getting older, or maybe I've always been like that. I don't know, but it helps me. I'm going to get all of this bread making mess all cleaned up. I still want to do the hard-boiled eggs here, and I have some baking types of things that I'd like to get done as well. So I think that's what I'm going to be working on next. Eggs are going right over here. In here, I am working on mashing up the mashed potatoes here. It's not a huge pot of mashed potatoes, but it was the very last potatoes that I have in the house. So some of them were getting pretty soft, but that's okay. If you end up with like soft vegetables like that, don't throw them away. Just turn them into something else where you're not even going to know it. So like mashed potatoes are great for really soft and wrinkled up potatoes. Soup is really good if you have wimpy celery and carrots that, you know, are starting to look a little wrinkled. It doesn't matter. When you put them in the soup, everything gets cooked, and then you can't even tell. Okay, so that's it for the mashed potatoes. Put them into a spread casserole dish, sprinkled on some Lawry seasoning salt, some fresh ground pepper, put a few pats of butter on the top. if I remember, what I like to do is take it out of the refrigerator, you know, about an hour ahead of time, so it can sort of have a chance to come up to room temperature. Chances are, though, I probably won't remember to do that, and then it'll just go straight into the oven being cold, and it'll take a little bit longer. I just did a video where we made these bakery sugar cookies, and so I didn't go through all the steps and everything. I will link to that video in the description box below. And if you don't even want to watch that video, you just have to head over there, and in that description box is where you will find the fully written out recipe. Maria is just washing up her hands. She wanted to come and dip these into some sprinkles. These are the sprinkles we usually use. Sometimes we just use regular old sugar or a colored sugar, really whatever we have. Any kind of holiday sprinkle works too. We're going to put these onto these pans. I have my oven preheated to 375. What I'm going to do this time, because Peter just made the chocolate chip cookies yesterday, and I do see that there's still about a half dozen of those up there, I'm going to leave out about 12 or so of these cookies. When we're done with them today, I'm going to put the other ones in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to keep them in the freezer so that I can bring them out a couple times this week, because I don't know how your family is and your kids and your husband, but in our house it seems like if cookies go in the cookie jar, it is about 24 hours, if even that, and they're all gone. A whole entire batch of cookies. And I mean, I'm embarrassed to say it here, but they're just gone. I'm going to put these into probably bags of a dozen each, and then after that I'm going to start working on chocolate chip cookie dough. And with the chocolate chip cookie dough, what I'm going to do is not bake up the cookies today. I'm just going to roll them into balls.
Perfect.
Perfect, isn't it? And press it in there. Remember, with these, they don't even have to be that perfect, do they? Beautiful.
What? They don't?
They don't have to be super perfect. Nice. We'll just give it one quick little tap like that. That'll be perfect. Okay, so like I was saying with the chocolate chip cookie dough, I'm going to make a double batch of dough. Did you snitch some dough?
Just a little.
And I'm going to put it into little chunks, and I'm going to freeze those and then put them all in a Ziploc bag. So what we can do when we want to have a treat, we can just quick pull out like one pan worth, which is about 15 cookies or so, make those, and then we don't eat all the cookies in one day. That is going to be the goal anyway. Okay, time is just ticking away here. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, and it's getting to be very, very close to time that I have to take care of the English muffins. And I wanted to get this chocolate chip cookie dough made. I wanted to do a double batch and then roll it out into balls and get it freezing for the week. But I realized that I don't have any brown sugar. Well, I have about a half a cup, and I need 2 cups. So I have seen before where you can make your own brown sugar. Just start with white sugar, and then you add in some molasses. So that's what I'm going to do. Whoops. You want to take those out?
Mom,
And what?
look at that.
Oh, I know. Makes like a rainbow. Do you want to take those out and just set them up on top of the stove, and then put the other ones in for 8 minutes? The key, I know you're trying to eat cookies. The key to these bakery sugar cookies is to underbake them. I can't stress that enough. Underbake, 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 because that's what keeps them super chewy as they cool. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I have 2 cups of sugar in here, and I would normally start with everything clean if I was going to store this, but I'm going to be using this up right away, so I don't mind if I get a little shortening in there. I have my 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to start mixing that, and then I'm going to just drizzle in, I think I'm going to drizzle in about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of molasses. I did not look this up or anything. I suppose I could, but I'm just going to drizzle in. There's about 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons, and we're going to go with that. And I'm going to just let this continue to mix for at least, I think I'm going to let it mix for at least 5 minutes. Okay, this is funny, and I have never had this happen to my dough before where it has expanded and busted through a bag. This one busted through and was stuck to a bunch of stuff in the fridge, and this one I better open up or it's going to bust. So anyway, when I said that it'll be fine in the refrigerator overnight, I guess I was wrong this time. I don't really know why. Okay, I can't do that one-handed, but anyway, I'm going to get these into a different kind of packaging situation and get them back into the refrigerator so we can use these for tomorrow's pizza crust. Okay, so I did eventually add another 1/2 cup of sugar here because I added plenty. 2 tablespoons was plenty of molasses here. What I'm going to do is measure this out. The remaining I'm going to, I think, keep into in the refrigerator. Well, I guess it just had a little shortening on it. That's not a big deal. I don't know. I'll probably keep it in the fridge, but I'm going to get going on to my cookies now. I tasted this. It tastes just like the brown sugar. So actually even better than regular brown sugar if you like molasses. So So these are probably some of the prettiest cookies. Just a kid favorite. Oh my gosh. Okay, everybody loves these. Still working on the cookie dough here. I think as soon as I get this, I know, as soon as I get this all mixed up, I'm going to have to get over to the English muffin dough and get that going next. One thing I want to point out to you guys, if you find yourself doing one of these Sunday preps or whatever day of the week it is, but you just kind of are prepping food for maybe like the week ahead or things to kind of pop into the freezer, unless you have your plan down to a T and you've, you know, checked all of your ingredients and everything, you're going to have to learn to be kind of flexible. I am not one of those people who plans it out like to a T. I mean, I have a plan, but I haven't gone and checked all of the details in the background to make sure that I have all of the correct ingredients. As you can tell, I was already out of brown sugar, but I have watched enough videos and read enough cooking books and watched cooking shows and things like that to know that there are things that I can do when I'm in a pinch. So for example, I made the brown sugar. That was very, very easy to do. I do think that I used a little too much molasses. I kind of made a very dark brown sugar, which there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, I also just used up the last 2 tiny bits. I had like 50 chocolate chips, I think, between these 2 bags of the semi-sweet, which is what we prefer in our chocolate chip cookies. One of my grocery shops when I was in a huge hurry here during this whole pandemic time of grocery shopping, I accidentally got milk chocolate chips, used up 1 bag already, and now I'm going to have to use these milk chocolate chips up with these cookies here. Everyone's still going to eat them, but I do find that doing these kind of prep in advance kind of cooking days, I tend to learn to be a little bit creative, and I also tend to figure out some ways to do things. And so I urge you too to do that, and you know, not get stuck or feel like, oh my gosh, I can't move forward because I don't have the right ingredients. Just go with the best that you can. I had well, today I actually had a little pizza seasoning, which turned out to be enough. In the past, if I didn't have the pizza seasoning that I wanted, I've just used Italian seasoning. Or if I don't have the cream soup, I've actually looked up a recipe and made some cream soup. That did take a little while. Yeah, that one took a little while, but it worked. It got me through. And now that we're in this time where some grocery items are just really, really hard to find, I think it's really important that we kind of learn how to utilize what we have and to just kind of, you know, just kind of make do. Usually your family doesn't even notice. Okay, so in go the milk chocolate chips. Following along with the English muffin recipe, I have out a piece of parchment paper here, and I do have to sprinkle that with, I don't know how much, with some cornmeal. I don't know if I can do that one-handed. I'll have to do that in just a second when I put the camera down. Here's my dough. I'm going to punch that down. I'm going to knead that just a few times. It says just a couple times, and then I'm going to divide this into 10 equal portions. I just don't feel like getting my counter dirty, so that's why I'm just kneading it right in here. I would say that would be considered a couple times. What I'm going to do is first divide this in half. I'm going to divide these into 5 pieces. Flatten each ball to about 1 inch. I'm going to cover that for 20 minutes. Normally when I make taco soup, I use 2 cans of the chili beans. For whatever reason, I didn't have 2 cans. I thought I had bought them, but they're just nowhere to be found. So I do have a can of black beans that I'm going to substitute. And I'm just going to dump all of this stuff along with about 4 tablespoons of my homemade taco seasoning. And I'm going to put that into my big pot, and voila, that will be taco soup. This is going to be taco soup for us. This is so fast and so easy. Oftentimes I will do this in the crock pot too. You just dump everything in there, especially if you already have your meat all cooked up ahead of time, and like in the freezer you can just put a frozen brick of already cooked ground meat, put all of your canned foods into the crock pot, and then just let it cook on low until supper time. And it's hearty and it's tasty and kids love it. And I'm going to put this into the fridge because we'll bring this out tomorrow for lunch and probably Tuesday for lunch. Basically every day for lunch until it's gone.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
Peter just brought me in some eggs, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to take another 5 minutes here before the English muffins need to be done. I'm going to get the taco soup put away. I'm going to get all of my recycling things taken out and just kind of regroup here in the kitchen a little bit. So I have about 2, I don't know if you can see this one over here, but I have about 2 cast iron pans. I'm going to lightly oil these because I'm getting ready to do the English muffins. And what's really neat about this English muffin recipe is that you actually don't bake them. They just get cooked right in a skillet. So here we go. I just left my soapy water in the sink since I did up those little bit bigger dishes that couldn't fit in the dishwasher. And I left it in there so I can kind of keep things moving through, because I know these I won't put in the dishwasher, and I want to make sure I can wash these right away because I'm trying to keep things cleaned up as much as I can. Warren has been outside with the kids. They have been just doing stuff. They have been just doing stuff all day. They went for the Mustang ride, then they went for a ride in the UTV. They've been out playing baseball. Shooting, I think Peter was shooting his BB gun, and I think they were shooting the 22. So they've been just keeping very, very busy today, and which has given me lots and lots of time to work in the kitchen. So let's take a peek at these English muffins. It said 2:25 was my time. It's already 2:35. Okay. There's 4 over here. I've got my timer set for 8 minutes. I was able to do 5 in this large cast iron, 4 in my smaller one. This is exciting. I think these are going to be super, super yummy for breakfast. Okay, so I'm putting together the little, not cheddar because I don't have the cheese, meatloaves. I have 2 eggs in there, 1.5 cups of milk. I normally would put in 2 cups of shredded cheese. I hope that this still is going to work out okay. While I'm doing this, the English muffins are baking. Or not baking, but cooking on the stovetop. I'm going to need a full cup of oatmeal. And there's a teaspoon. Alrighty, after 8 minutes, this is what the English muffins are looking like. I'm going to flip these over. I think that these should probably go, well, maybe they're not supposed to be too dark. I'm going to follow the directions. We're going to flip these over. Ooh, that one's pretty. And it says on the second side they're supposed to cook for, I think, 3 minutes. Sometimes the gas stove top low is still pretty hot. So, okay, there's the one pan. Here's the other pan. I noticed that once I flipped them, they kind of sunk just a tiny bit. I think that's how they're supposed to be, though. 3 minutes. All right, I misspoke. It's actually 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back with the onion. Get that in there. I did just move the smaller pan of English muffins to the back burner, which is a smaller burner, because I was a little concerned with them getting too dark, you know, as the pan keeps heating and heating. So I just wanted to let you know that I did that. And that is 2 pounds of ground venison. I'm really trying to work quickly now because, like I said before, Warren has been just hanging out. Not that the kids need to be babysat, but he's just been hanging out today. It's just such a beautiful day and nice to, I mean, you know, with this quarantine, we actually just don't have all the running that we normally have to do, which quite honestly has been pretty nice. That was my timer for the English muffins, but what I was going to tell you is that I'm kind of trying to hurry because he's like, you know what, I really want to run into town. I want to pick up some hinges because he's building a cabinet for Nick, and he wanted some, he needs 3 hinges, and I think he has 2 hinges or something like that. Anyway, and then he also, oh, and he wanted to pick up some beer as well, and which, by the way, rhubarb juice with champagne, you know, like a rhubarb juice mimosa. That was so good. On Easter Sunday, we made mimosas with orange juice and cranberry juice, and we used a Brut champagne, and that was okay. But today we made mimosas with rhubarb juice, my home canned rhubarb juice. That was phenomenal. We're getting close to rhubarb season, so we will start, I'll start sharing some of those recipes soon. That's what these are looking like. So did I make that clear that the reason I'm trying to rush now is because he wants to run into town, and he asked, do you want to go with me so that we can go in the Mustang together? And I said, you bet I would. So, okay, these don't seem done to me. They seem a little doughy. Yes, actually quite doughy in the middle. So I'm going to let these continue to cook on low. I did not watch the video since I saw it the first time. I just followed the written directions that were in his description box. But I do think that if you do make these, go and watch his video so you can get a feel for any of the little tips and tricks that he shared, because he said he's been making these for quite a while. Now these actually feel done. I'm gonna let one cool. Oh gosh, what do? Do I let one cool? and turn the pan off on the other ones. Okay, let me figure out what I'm going to do here. Okay, so after cutting this one in half, I see that it looks very done. It is still quite moist, but that's okay because that's just all the steam coming out. I do know with bread, if you wait for it to cool until it's almost all the way cool, you'll get a much better end product. I mean, warm bread, who doesn't like that? But if you're trying to save the loaf, okay, let me backtrack. If you're going to eat the whole loaf of bread at one sitting, you know, you have a big enough family and you guys are just going to devour it with like stew or something, then cut it warm, no big deal. But if you actually want to save some of the bread for the next day and you want it to still have kind of that light and fluffy texture, then you're going to want to wait for it to cool almost all the way. You probably could cut it when it's just tiny, just a teensy bit warm, but you'll get the best product if you do let it cool. Oh yeah, these are starting to look like they are done. Ooh, that one got a little brown. Must have been right in a hot spot there. Warren will like that one. He always likes things a little bit darker like that. So I'm going to turn these off as well. This one I'm going to put butter on and take it outside and see who wants it. Okay, I didn't get very far with this. I put some butter on it, and then I looked outside, and I don't know where they all went, so I actually started eating it. Sorry to be talking to you guys with my mouth full, but I started eating it. It's very, very good. It tastes like an English muffin. Like exactly like an English muffin. Okay, so next up, I had to come down here to talk to you guys. I'm going to get working on making these little mini meatloaves. I'm going to put them in this glass pan because if I store things like this in the refrigerator, I like to keep it in glass instead of in metal. Sometimes the metal gives it kind of a funny off flavor. And since I did not have the cheese, it seems a little too wet, so I'm going to add a little bit more oatmeal to this just to kind of soak up some of that moisture so they hold their shape. Alrighty, so I got all of that kitchen stuff done. I got everything cleaned up and the counters all wiped down and everybody came in and they're watching Gilligan's Island now. They were just like outside running all day long. So they're just like, we gotta just sit down for a little bit. Okay, so, and that's kind of how I'm feeling too. Well, that's why I'm sitting down on the couch. And let's just kind of look at here. I did not get the salami wrapped cheese done. I did not cut up the celery and carrots. I don't think anyone's gonna be too heartbroken over that though. I did get the bakery sugar cookies done. And we did get the chocolate chip cookie dough made. I'm going to try to get the kids to actually make those into dough balls, put them on the cookie sheets to freeze. I did not get the cranberry muffins done, which I'm really bummed about that. I did get the English muffins done. Really, really like the flavor of those. Definitely try those and make sure that's on nice and low heat because a couple of mine did get a little dark. But that's okay. Okay, I did not get the Salisbury steak done, but I did get the meatloaves. I have the meat thawed for that, and that really is not, it's very similar to putting together meatloaves. It's not going to take long. I don't have mini roasts, so later in the week on Wednesday we'll just wrap the roast with the bacon. And then I did not get the pancake mix done or the beef gravy mix, but I did get the taco soup done. And then for supper tonight, I do have the brats out, and we're going to have pork and beans and cranberry sauce. So Warren and I are going to go and take that ride in the Mustang now. Okay, it is 5:10, and Warren and I are back from our little jaunt in the Mustang, which was actually really fun to just kind of get out. It's such a sunny day. It's so beautiful. But anyways, Peter and Sam, I think they are the two that made all of the chocolate chip cookie dough into dough balls. I didn't even count these all up quick to see how many it made, but this was a double batch. I'm going to put these in the freezer, then I'm going to put them into Ziploc bags, and then this week whenever somebody wants to make a pan or so of cookies, they'll be ready to go. And at this point, I would like to invite anybody who is new here from Large Family Love's channel to hit that subscribe button, click on the bell, and just join this YouTube family. It's a lot of fun here, and I share lots and lots of food. And just a tiny bit more about me. We have 7 kids. 2 of them are adults and moved on and into their careers and lives and things like that. The other 5 are still at home. We homeschool our children, and we are cranberry farmers. And so yeah, that's the kind of thing that you're going to see here. Lots of homemaker day in the lives, homeschooler day in the lives. You're going to see lots of cooking and occasionally some canning and some gardening stuff, and just kind of whatever the spirit moves me to share on a particular day. So good morning. It is Monday now. I know that this is no longer considered Sunday prep, but there were a number of things that I did not get done on the list yesterday, and I really wanted to get those done for the week, and even some of them for the for the weeks coming up. And so I thought, I have Joe eating breakfast. It is like 5 after 9. Peter and Maria are doing school. Sam, I think, is cleaning his room right now, and Warren is out working. Okay, so that's the rundown of the family, and I'm in here, and I thought I am going to get a couple of these things done on my list here quickly while Peter and Maria are both doing math. I have them all set up. They can do that on their own. Okay, so I'm going to make these cranberry muffins. Typically, what I would do with this cranberry muffin recipe is I would use fresh orange, because I need the grated peel. Oh, there's my orange juice thawing right now. And so then what I do is I just squeeze the juice out of the orange and then add water to make the amount of orange juice that I need in this recipe. But I don't have a fresh orange right now. I did search around the freezer, and I did find some orange juice. So what I'm going to do is just make this orange juice, and then I'm going to use this in the recipe. I'm not going to have the grated orange peel, and that's just fine. Everybody will be fine without that. So let me just get this recipe started. So this muffin recipe calls for adding all the dry ingredients into the bowl, cutting in the shortening, and then adding in the other wet ingredients. Go 2 cups. And this is just an unbleached all-purpose flour. I actually found my favorite flour again, and so I bought everything they had on the shelf, because for a while there I could not get it. A cup of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a ½ teaspoon of baking soda, a ½ teaspoon of ginger, a ½ teaspoon of salt. This is the point where I would put in the full grated orange peel. I give this a good mix. I'm going to grab a ½ cup of shortening. That to me looks like a ½ cup. It says to cut that in, so I'm just going to kind of mix that until it's small crumbs. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to make up this orange juice quickly. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's kind of just coarse crumbs. And now I'm going to add in 3/4 cup of orange juice and 2 eggs and a tablespoon of vanilla. Okay, so I do that just until everything is combined, because like I said, I don't like to over mix my muffin batter. And I know that I'm still going to have to mix it a little bit more when I put in the cranberries and the pecans. Lots of pecans, like 1½ cups of pecans here. It doesn't hurt to mention this here today for those of you who are new to my channel. Muffin recipes, oftentimes the temperature is for your traditional light colored pan. And so if you are baking muffins and finding that they seem to be a little bit too dry or a little too done on the bottoms oftentimes, and you're using dark pans like I am, it's a really good idea to set your oven at 25 degrees cooler. I mean, obviously, if your oven tends to run cooler, then you're not going to need to do that. But this recipe calls for 375 degrees. I set it at 350. I'm going to put these. I'm going to put these in the oven for, I have written down 17 minutes. What?
No, turkey!
Turkey! All right, I'm back. I just had to switch out my battery. Peter is still working on his. You were just doing your doubles. That's really easy, isn't it?
Yep.
You got them all. Nice job. Now you have to do those sentences. you have to add a word to finish that sentence. It says, that pizza was way too, and then you have to finish. Oh, no. Only use capital letters when you need to, remember? And use your eraser. Oh my gosh, 8-year-old boys. Okay, listen, I really, where are you? You have to use your eraser, and you have to use capitals and lower cases when you're supposed to.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, listen to me. You need to do your writing.
Okay.
Let's make it happen.
Okay.
These are kind of fun today. So this is a book.
Okay.
Let's see. Plus a case equals, what is this whole thing?
Bookshelf.
Yeah, bookcase. We can call it a bookcase. Nice. One more O. And then what's the last letter in book? What letter comes here? Book. Joe, you need to finish writing that there, okay? I need to help Peter. Okay, so this is usually how it goes. We do, you know, kitchen prep, food prep, and school all at the same time, right?
Yes.
So the cranberry muffins are all done. It was kind of funny. I forgot to like scoop deep after I took it off of the mixer. And so, yes, we know it's yours, Joe. And so what happened is I have a couple that don't have anything in. I don't even think there's a nut or a cranberry in there, but that's okay. Maria will probably like that one. And every day at 10 o'clock, Sam and I do algebra. So that's what we're going to work on. Peter looks like he has something to show me. So we're going to get back to this Sunday prep still in a little bit. Alrighty, so it is 25 to 12 now. I did a whole bunch of school with the kids. Sam is actually doing all of his problems for his algebra. The little kids are outside. Well, not Joe. He's listening to music. That's why you can probably hear the radio blaring in the background. Okay, I'm going to get going on the pancake mix. I have this container that I like to keep full of pancake mix, and then on the lid I just have the instructions written. So when this is full and I open it up, I give it a little fluff. 2.5 cups of the pancake mix, 2 cups of buttermilk, 2 eggs, and then 3 tablespoons oil if I'm in a hurry, or if I want to melt butter to give it some extra flavor, I do that as well. The buttermilk, you guys, it's so easy. You just put a couple tablespoons of lemon juice or regular white vinegar into your measuring cup or whatever. Fill it up with 2 cups of regular milk, and voila, you have buttermilk. So if you don't keep that on hand, you can also get the dry buttermilk powder, and you can mix that in here. Today I just don't have that, and so here's what we're doing. I like to line everything up with the measuring spoon that goes in it, because sometimes the flour is just fluffier than other times, and you just never know how much is going to fit into the container you have. I like to do it one kind of like batch at a time. Oops, I need my whisk. And then I'm just going to whisk it all up, and then I'll put another kind of like batch on top. Now the nice thing about pancake mix is that if you want, you can kind of, you know, take it up a level. You could use some whole wheat flour in here, throw in some flax meal if you'd like. You could put in some wheat germ, or if you like seeds, or even if you like fruit, you can throw your dry fruit right in here right away. Dried cranberries, dried blueberries, dried apple bits, really whatever you like. I tend to just make it completely plain and then throw those in when I'm actually going to make the pancakes. As for the muffins, some of them have already gotten eaten, but what I'm doing is just putting some in this ice cream pail. These I'm going to keep out for us to eat the next few days, just for snacks and whatever. And then I am going to pop these in the freezer, because sometimes I find if I have too many baked things sitting around, sometimes some of it actually, believe it or not, can go to waste. I'm going to quick put together some salami and cheese rolls. I see that I don't have the right kind of cheese. That's okay. I'm just going to roll it up with a cheese slice, which actually is working pretty well. Keep these in the refrigerator. This just makes a really good low-carb snack for when, you know, you're just kind of on the go. I'm going to get that done. And with all of those things done, I'm going to end this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, that you subscribe, and then head on over to Large Family Love and give her a little bit of love and watch her video and see how her Sunday prep went. I know she'd appreciate it, and I know you guys are going to love it. She has a really fun channel. So thanks so much. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.